Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926. My brain cannot function right now. We're doing swell. Anyway, continuing Orlock's route. Shit's finally happening. We had to get to chapter 3 though to get to this point. Yeah, good lord. Anyway, and oddly, I'm cold now. I was hot recording the last part. Same day. I'm recording them the same day, obviously. I was hot as shit and it was only 71 up here, and now it's 73 and I'm cold. So, like, shit is falling apart over here. Anyway, Orlock just fought Johan for the first time, so yeah. Well, we ran into him. So, yeah, and also, yeah, same thing. Whatever. Anyway, I'm fine. It doesn't hurt anymore. Orlock sat up, taking a few deep breaths. Are you sure? See, his necklace is the same as Johan's earring. I'm just saying, that's how they know fucking one disciple from another. Like, they just kind of look at each other. You like look at his earring, and you kind of like gesture your necklace. And so don't tell me you wouldn't fucking know him on the street. Yes, I'm still not used to using this arm in battle. I'm sorry if I worried you. I think my body just couldn't catch up since I haven't fought in a while. I don't think anything's changed much, but I'm a little rusty compared to before. Even if the wounds have healed, they still take a toll. Orlock glanced at his prosthetic arm as if to confirm it was still there. Just glad you're okay now, Orlock. Wonder why Johan attacked you like that. I'm not sure myself, but Gilbert did warn us that Johan offered him a deal to help him get rid of me. Hold on a second. Nope. Like the music just picked up. But it went from like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's the music itself. I was like, fuck, what the hell happened? It got very loud. I remember that night when we spoke to Gilbert. Say, you really have it out for him, don't you? I was thinking of lending you a hand. It's clear that he really was trying to kill me, which means that Johan may be acting on a personal grudge. Did you know him before, Orlock? I don't think so. Emilio showed me a photograph of him once, but this was the first time I've met him in person. Then why would he want to kill you? Oh, why would he want to kill you? Who did you kill? Who knows? Orlock closed his eyes and shook his head. I kind of feel like, what I feel bad about is that Orlock's entire route is everyone wants to kill Orlock. He was like, Gilbert, and Gil's like, I'm gonna let it go because actually it's better for my business, to be honest. But otherwise, Gil would have tried to kill Orlock too. I mean, Raul might not be out for blood because he's like, I don't give a shit about Dante and Nicola. But Leo does, and now Johan's mad at you. I mean, everybody kind of wants to kill you for some fucking reason. Pretty sure Henry might try to stab you just to get me to keep me safe. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, this is everyone wants to kill Orlock. Maybe you shouldn't have had an Orlock route in this game. You get Piofiore 1926. Like, where's the Orlock? We didn't do it because everybody wants to kill Orlock. The end. That's basically it. Like, I kind of... Look, Orlock, you're my least favorite, but, like, I do really feel bad for you in this route, because you killed all of our friends, and so I can't really blame the people who want to kill you. Maybe Johan, I don't know his story yet. I mean, I can't really blame Leo, and, like, I don't want Leo to kill you, but I also don't want you to kill Leo, but I understand why Leo wants to kill you, and I kind of feel it a little bit myself, because, like, you killed everyone else! Like, fucking A, Orlock, what the hell? I mean, legitimately, for his route, it makes sense because, like, throughout the other routes, you get to know the other characters and you love them. And again, I can't quite remember each route and go, oh no, well, in this route, they painted this character to look like an asshole. I mean, I remember one of Orlock's bad endings, and Dante didn't come out looking stellar in that ending. Like, holy shit! Jesus, Dante, what the fuck? But, I mean, they are mafia bosses, so they are supposed to be shady criminal assholes. So we're really not supposed to feel bad that, like, Orlock killed them all. But at the same time, still feel bad about it? Very weird place to be. Look, I'm not saying I'm justified in being mad at Orlock for killing our other boyfriends, because I'm sure they weren't stellar individuals, where we were like, no, they're so great. It was like, no, we kind of looked at them and thought they were assholes. We didn't get to know them in this route to know that they weren't assholes fully. But, like, it doesn't make a difference. I know. So, again, I'm not very logical with how I feel. I can't help how I feel, okay? Anyway, Orlock closed his eyes and shook his head. I don't know. It's going to be the adventure now. Orlock? I know you've told me a bit about the disciples already, but would you mind telling me a little more? Of course, only what you're able to share. Maybe there's something in all that to explain why he might be attacking you. I don't mind telling you more, but what else do you want to know? Let's see. You said Johan was a prospective, so technically he isn't a disciple yet, right? So how are the perspectives chosen in the first place? From among the orphans that are taken in, those who show physical promise are selected to be trained as perspectives. I think there's an age limit, so every new trainee has to be younger than 5 years old when they first start. Is it possible that Johan knew you before his kids? I don't think so. And even that, before 5 years old. So Johan remembers you when you were 3 and he's hated you ever since? You know what I mean? This is not like, oh, well, we're taken when we're 10, so yeah, it makes sense. 5. Most people, like, you have vague little memories here and there. Like, I remember things from when I was 2 years old. You know what I mean? And the only reason I remember certain things like that is not just because I do remember them, but also people talking about those instances and those things, and it just cements that memory in, and you're like, oh yeah, otherwise I'd have fucking forgotten. I can't remember yesterday. Okay. Oh, that's not true. Wait. Sort of. But you know what I mean? Like, I can barely remember last week, but I can remember shit from when I was 2. But I can't remember every fucking detail enough to know. I mean, I guess if something happened and then Johan was pissed at Orlock and wanted to kill him, it was something he was angry about when he was like 3 or 4. But, like, Johan and Orlock aren't too different in age, I guess. But I guess, I mean, that could be the deciding thing. So maybe they knew each other as kids. So yeah, I guess if it was something that Orlock doesn't remember because it was something that just, whatever, he just kind of forgot about, but it's something that really resonated with Johan. Like, you killed my mom! Or, it's your fault! You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I do feel like that's a stretch. Like, he's been harboring this grudge for, like, that fucking long. That's a long time. Anyway. There aren't very many perspectives. Maybe 10 or 15 at the most. And when a spot opens to become a disciple, the perspectives go through a trial, and only one's chosen. I don't remember everyone's faces, but I'm sure Johan wasn't with us back then. Having grown up at the church with other orphans myself, I wondered whether I could ever forget the faces of those I spent my days with. But Orlock's expression looked so hardened and pained that I decided to change the subject. And again, like 10 or 15, he's chosen, he might vaguely remember them, but like you said, for us, we enjoyed the time we spent, and we spent more normal quality time with people. Or like, even if it was like, oh, that kid was such a dick. You spent more normal time, in a way. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to remember every single person you went to high school with, but you remember certain people. Like, oh, I remember that person was nice, or that person, this was my group of friends. These people were nice to me. That person was a raging fucking douchehole. And then most people are forgettable. You just forget them. But like, so with us, we had a smaller group. Easier to kind of remember those people. But we also led a normal kind of existence. I mean, for being an orphan in the church. You know what I mean? But like, that's more normal than fucking Orlock's orphan days, where he was basically like rigorously trained, and you're spending so much time doing these physical trials and training and all this that you don't have time to bond with these people, so you don't fucking remember them. You know what I mean? Like, part of why you remember people is that bond you have with them, whether you're like, you talk to them and, so again, think of it like, again, high school. You remember people because you had a strong emotional reaction, like, oh, these people are really nice, or that person sucks. The people you passed on the hall every day that you never spoke to, never had a class, nothing, no impression whatsoever, you don't fucking remember them. You know what I mean? You might remember them if you were like, oh, I remember I always passed this person in the hall, and I always just thought, you know, they trigger something of some kind of a thought or an emotion in you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I always saw that person, and I always thought they were so cute. Or like, that person always had cute clothes. Or like, that guy always looked like a douche. You know what I mean? There's something that triggers something. But when you're so busy fighting and like and doing all this training, you don't have time for that shit. So like, Orlock, of course, wouldn't really remember. It makes sense that he wouldn't remember everyone, you know? Maybe that's why Johan's pissed, because you don't remember him. You're like, I don't think I remember him. Maybe. Anyway. So when does a spot open to become a disciple? And one is killed during their mission. Sometimes they're forced to retire if they can't work due to injury, disease, or age. I heard that no matter how skilled one is, everyone's forced out by their late 20s. They only want children. That's kind of disturbing. Well, sounds like the church. My injuries. I'm much slower than I used to be, but I heard that my superiors fought against my retirement since I was still more capable than the others. It really is a testament to how extraordinary Orlock's talents are. Talent for speed and stabbing. Speedy stabs. I understand the church is still in need of service, and I'm still too young to leave the position. I think because I graduated at an early age, they expect more from me and want me to continue. You mean you became a disciple earlier than the others? How old were you? I was around 12. That's kind of fucked up! 12? That's so young! He said I was the youngest in the church's history. He looks so proud of this! Like, I was the youngest in history to become a disciple for stabbing people for the church. There's something kind of wrong about that. Like, you go be proud of yourself? Sure. I remember it clearly because he praised me so much when it happened. I assumed Orlock was referring to Bishop Rosberg. Does every perspective become a disciple after enough training? No, there are only 12 seats available, which is why it's rare to move up. Perspectives are only trained until the age of 18, so most end up losing their candidacy if a spot doesn't open up in time. So all the training and hardships they endure might all be in vain. He nodded and continued. Okay, Johan's pissed because he was really, really, really fucking good, and he's older than you, and like you got the spot over him, you don't remember him, and now he wants to kill you because he's gonna be forced out soon. Because he's 18 and this is his last fucking shot. That's the dumbest fucking reason for any of this, but like, that's what I'm going with right now. But it's kind of stupid. You're like, Johan, that's the stupidest reason. Like, you know what I mean? But I mean, if you think about it, it seems stupid. But like, if your whole entire life was training to do this, to become a disciple, and you were like, yeah, now they need a new disciple, and I'm the best. I mean, Orlock's awesome. He's a little, but you know what I mean? Especially because maybe Johan was better than Orlock. Or they were evenly kind of tied, or like whatever, but, you know, Orlock got it because it, like, what's the word that I can't fucking think of right now? Nepotism, right? Because Bishop Rosberg loved him so fucking much, and maybe there was some sway and some pull, and Orlock got in over Johan despite the fact that they were evenly matched, and Johan was a little bit older. But how old is Orlock? Because if 18's your last chance, then Johan would be a little bit younger, and that wouldn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I mean, they could be the same age, but... I mean, if it was like they're the same age, then Johan wouldn't be mad. You know what I mean? Because he'd be like, oh, well, I mean, I guess, yeah. Johan would either have to be older than Orlock or the same age for that whole logic to, like, mesh where you could understand. And you're like, I mean, but his whole life is trained to do this. And then to think that you have a shot and then somebody else has taken over you. And you're like, the fuck? You know what I mean? Because aren't we like 18 to 20? So Orlock would be around the same age. So like, Johan wouldn't be like 10 and getting mad at Orlock for getting chosen over him. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. There's some inconsistencies there on why it wouldn't quite make sense, but anyway. He nodded and continued. And those who age out as perspectives or retire from being a disciple find work in the clergy. They serve the Lord in other ways and are sometimes called upon to fight as well. Fighting priests. Orlock, thought carefully about how to word it. Do you want to be a disciple? Do you want to be a priest? Do you want to be a disciple? Like, yeah. Do you want to continue being a disciple? That's also worded weird when the choice is, do you want to be a disciple? He is one, but I get what they meant. Like, is this what you want still? Like, the church provided for me in many ways as a child. They've even given us a place to live now. Which is why I want to repay them however I can to show my gratitude. See, it's this kind of weird indoctrination, though. We gave you a place to stay. I was literally an orphan and I was starving. Yeah, but I mean, maybe you should stab people because we told you. I mean, it's kind of fucking psycho. So, like, that's not churchly. You know what I mean? Like, humans are very selfish, and doing the I did something nice so I expect something in return is kind of like, yeah, you expect to see that around, but like the church is supposed to be better than normal trash humans like most of us, so it really should be we do nice things for people because we want them to be happy and people deserve that, and like we're doing this because we're good. Not, well, I'm doing this because I'm good, but, like, you could repay me, you know? Like, because then that's shadier than just being straight up and being like, look, I'm only giving you food so you give me money. Like most people. You know what I mean? Like, you know? Like, I'm doing good things so I feel good about myself. I'm not just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. I'm doing it because, like, well, yeah, it's nice, but also I feel good about myself. Slightly selfish. You know? But, like, this whole, like, expecting something in return, which is kind of like, I feel like what they were doing. Like, oh, well, we gave you that. And that's why you have to, we fed you and trained you. You have to stab people for us. It's very much fucking shady as shit, okay? Is all I'm saying. Church's supposed to be better than that. I'm not painting a good light here. I've never painted in a good light. Anyway. I have no intention of quitting it this time. I don't want you to strain yourself. Of course, I'm incredibly grateful for what the church has done for us, but I felt that his body had gone through enough. The prosthetic arm that the church gave him was the best that medical science could offer. I mean, granted, in our case, we're also doing the same thing. Well, the church gave me so much, so I should give back. But I don't feel like we're being guilt-tripped by Sister Sophia to do that. You know what I mean? Orlock, on the other hand, absolutely fallen through the guilt trip of being like, well, we did this for you, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Orlock is in this weird, like, guilt trip trap. And we're like, I want to give back to the church because they did nice things for me and they're good people, and they're like, oh, that's so nice of you. You know what I mean? Like, we're like two different scenarios here. Like, Orlock is the shady, seedier side of the church, where everyone's a little, like, suspicious, and you're like, you're just being shady. And we're, like, the good, wholesome side, or, like, Sister Sophia's like, oh, no, dear, you don't know us a damn thing. And we're like, no, I'm gonna do this nice. And you know what I mean? It's, like, cute and wholesome and nice. Like, that's kind of weird in its own way if you think about the two sides, because this is legit. Anyway. Wait, did I read that? The prosthetic arm that the church gave him was the best that medical science could offer. Still, it was such a heavy burden to him in more ways than just physically. We leave the church. Maybe Orlock can live his own life, free from the responsibilities forced onto him. It's also that, though, and it's weird because, like, you just naturally, oh, the church spent all this money to get me the best prosthetic arm that science could possibly come up with right now. Now you feel indebted, even if they were like, nah, don't feel bad, bro. You lost your arm in the service of the church. Take it and run. Woo, peace out. Like, and they were cool with it, you'd feel the guilt, which is weird. But again, I feel like that's been ingrained in you by the church. So it's just like really weird anyway. Even if they were like, no, we're fine. You already did your service. This is our repayment. Cool, bye, have fun. Nice life. It's just they've already instilled this like weird guilt into you. In the silence that followed, a gentle spring breeze blew around us. A faint scent of flowers seemed to ease the tension that had gripped our minds and hearts. Oh, whoops. From the top of the hill, we could see the landscape of Boulogne, the clear blue sky, and the sea that sparkled in the distance. I accidentally, I think, skipped when we could have gone to the Meanwhile story. Or maybe that was when that... I don't know. Anyway. Johan. Damn it, that Orlock! I thought he was seriously injured. Story was complete bullshit. What voice did we give this guy? I forget. We'll just give him a nice calm. Seems calm. Our superiors were hesitant to assign a mere perspective such as yourself to handle Boulogne. Their fears were well-founded. You've not been able to handle the tasks assigned to you since you took on this mission. You're brash. You kill needlessly, even failing to deliver reports in a timely fashion. It's shameful. Like, okay, if he's like a priest or some shit, why is he hot? I'm just throwing that out there. Like, that's an appropriate game. You shouldn't make him pretty. You're like, he's really... It's making me feel wrong. Right, but wrong. I mean... Sorry, I'm such a useless piece of garbage. Instead of complaining so much, why don't you just send a new replacement? I only took this position because I didn't have the right to refuse. And it was a good opportunity to show the guys at the top what I was made of. Sadly, there are no better replacements to enlist. You are the best of the perspectives I'm sure it's supposed to say present, not present, but a poor crop this season, if you ask me. This guy wasn't much older than me, but here he was in charge of all the disciples. That alone was enough to piss me off. Johan, Boulogne is a very special case. You must learn to act in accordance with our needs. You will retain this position, but cause any more troubles, and you'll be dealt with personally by our most expert disciple. So I'll finally get to see the almighty hero in action? Yes, you will bear witness to his abilities, the same that allowed him to become a disciple after killing your brother. Well, now we know why Johan's pissed. Steiner. Is that a name in the first game? I thought my brother died from an accident during training. So then, he was actually killed so that someone else could become a disciple? He's not getting away with this. If Orlock died, a disciple seat would open up, and I could pass the trials to become a real disciple. Church wouldn't be able to treat me like some worthless lackey anymore. I mean, maybe you should have done a good job instead of stabbing people. I'll become a disciple in honor of my brother. I'll kill him no matter what. Okay, so see, now, okay, that makes sense. So, Johan had no idea, but, like, Johan's brother must have been in the same class with Orlock, and what it sounds like is Rosberg wanted Orlock to become a disciple, so when a seat opened up, an accident happened to Johan's brother, and then that's why Orlock got the position, because he wouldn't have gotten it because Johan's brother would have, because he was either better than Orlock or just older. And it was like, oh, yep. I mean, yeah, him and Orlock are the best, but, like, he's older, so we should give it to him and let Orlock train some more because he's really young, you know? That makes sense. That makes sense. But it doesn't... Well... Okay, no, I guess it does, because I'm assuming that... Well... It's weird because what nameless guy was saying almost sounds like Johan was sent here to Boulogne and then he's not doing his job appropriately, and then was kind of let it slip that Orlock's the reason his brother's dead. So now Johan's pissed and wants to kill Orlock. But it kind of seemed like Johan was already being an asshole and doing his job wrong in order to lure Orlock here. So it's just kind of weird on the timing. Like, was he just really shit at his job? And then it was like, oh, we'll send Orlock to kick your ass, by the way. He's the reason your brother's dead. Hey. And then he's like, what? And then, like, you know what I mean? So was he already shit at his job, or was he only being shit at his job to lure Orlock out? That's kind of what, well, I guess he's just shit at his job. So he's aggressive and angry, and now he's mad at Orlock. So he's aggressive, angry for no reason already, and then now mad at Orlock. I don't know. It's a little weird, but from the top of the hill we could see, oh, we already read that, the sea, the landscape up below, the clear blue sky, and the sea that sparkled in the distance. We sat there together, neither of us saying a word, in the peace of the quiet forest. Although Orlock was looking much better than before, we decided to end our activities for the day just in case. We started walking back to the hotel, chatting about happy things along the way. All at once, something cut through the air. I was startled by the loud bang of a gunshot, Leo. I was even more startled when Orlock lifted me up into his arms and dashed into a nearby alley. Orlock slowly lowered me onto my feet and pulled me back into the safety of the shadows. You stay here. I covered my mouth with my hand to muffle my heavy breathing and nodded in response. Don't kill Leo. If you kill Leo... I crouched down low against the wall and kept my eyes open. In a blink of an eye, Orlock was off, his last footsteps echoing in his wake. I turned to find him running towards someone. Oh. Fucking Leo. Oh, Leo. Leo, my sweet little baby Leo. Oh, no. Leo's gonna get away, okay? I'm trying to be positive here, because Orlock, if you fucking kill another one of my preciouses... And Leo is just my precious son that I want to take care of. I just want to protect him, okay? He's like that sweet little puppy. Just don't hurt him. Stop it. You know, you killed all my love interests, fucking Orlock. Almost all of them. But, like, you can't kill my precious little sweetie Leo, okay? Leo deserves nothing but the best. Why, you... The young man aimed at Orlock, but Orlock reached him before he could shoot again. Oh my god, are we getting a Leo and Orlock CG? I'm here for this. In one fluid movement, Orlock brought his dagger against the young man's throat. But he stopped there, making it clear that he meant only to keep the attacker at bay. What? This might be like one of the hottest CGs. Okay. You didn't know you needed some Orlock Leo fanfic, did you? Like, what is happening? But, like... You know, I'm actually here for this ship. That I didn't ever see coming, because, like, you know, they're both too adorable for me to, like, love as love interests for me. But, like, Leo is kind of like, I mean, he's tough, he can handle himself, but he's also really wholesome and adorable, like, and sweet and chipper, like a cute little puppy. And then you have frickin' Orlock, who's, like, angsty and quiet and sulky, like a mad cat. You know what I mean? And then they're just like, and then I just, even if it's not a romance thing, I just want them to be besties now. And I'm here for this CG because it's beautiful. Most of the time the CGs are beautiful, don't get me wrong. But this is just like, oh, hello. Hi. Anyway, I'm gonna bet that this CG spurned some fanfic that didn't already exist if nobody thought of it before. Somebody who's writing fanfic for Piofiore was like, oh, and then wrote some. Because, I mean, even in my brain, I was like, I need fanfic of this. Wait, when did that come from? That's weird. I'm just saying. I like to ship a boy sometimes. Gay romances. But this I didn't see coming. The young man's eyes widened in shock. His back was pushed against the wall, leaving nowhere for him to escape. Firing a gun in the middle of a crowd is unwise. Then again, you are mafia. Orlock suppressed his anger and spoke calmly, which seemed to make the man more upset. Like, Orlock suppressed his anger. Do you have a right to be angry at Leo? I mean, technically, I shouldn't be mad at Orlock for being mad at Leo. Like, Leo did just shoot at you, so, I mean, if someone shot at me, I'd be kind of mad, too. And if I were Orlock and someone shot at me and my girlfriend, and I didn't want her to, I would also be very mad. But then again, reading this, I'm like, how dare you, Orlock? You killed his friends! And I'm more mad at Orlock for having the audacity to be upset about this. That's fucked up. You saying I'm some kind of idiot? That's not what I meant, but I will say that I'm not happy you shot at me out of nowhere. I wouldn't have gotten hit in any case, but you could have hurt an innocent person. I want you to turn around and leave. No intention of killing you, and you'll not be able to kill us. Just give up. In stark contrast to Orlock's calm demeanor, the young man's eyes instantly filled with fury. Oh, Leo doesn't deserve this stress and pain. Like I'd listen to you! You want to kill me just like you did everyone else! Just like you killed the boss and Nicola! I feel like he's more upset about Nicola, because Nicola's just a fucking sweetheart for being really fucking devious and shady. Nicola's like, two sides of the same coin there. The nice, sweet, innocent, oh, Nicola, you're so sweet, and then the, oh god, you're really dark on the back, aren't you? A gasp as a memory rushed back to me. Isn't he? I recalled seeing him accompany Dante Falzone to Mass more than once. I see. Orlock closed his eyes in disappointment, then quickly struck the blunt handle of his dagger against the man's chest. I thought he was actually gonna stab fucking Leo. No, he just knocked him out. He crumpled to the ground. Orlock quickly retreated and returned to where I was hiding. That blow will make it hard to breathe for a short while. Let's escape while we still can. Okay. I grabbed hold of his hand and we hurried out of the alley. The sky began to darken, covered in rain clouds of ashen gray. I love how they kind of make this like you're supposed to be like mad about Leo, but poor fucking Leo. I feel worse for Leo than I do for Orlock, and it's Orlock's route, and I don't really feel like that's the intent they were having here. I think they wanted the angst, you know what I mean? Leo being angry, and you're like, okay. They know goddamn well there was no way you played this game, regardless of who you are, what kind of characters you're in love with, that you didn't absolutely adore Leo and just think he's the most precious thing ever and deserves nothing but good things. Okay? Whether you were like, you want to route with Leo because you're in love with him, or you were like, I just want to protect him like my child. And I hate kids, by the way. So, okay. I just want to protect him. Don't hurt my baby. Okay? Like, however you loved Leo, there is no way you left the original Piofiore being like, Leo. Because then you're heartless. Okay? Like, Leo is like the cat. Was Carlo? Is that what it was in Dante's route? You can't, like, not and be like, look, the cute little fluffy kitten, and not love it, even if you don't like cats. Okay? Leo is like that. Doesn't fucking matter. You love Leo. Leo is precious. Okay? So, like, they knew what they were doing when they did this, because you're like, no, Leo, and they wanted you to be all angsty, like, don't either one of you kill each other! And I'm like, listen, if I got a side over here, I'm siding with Leo. Don't take that the wrong way, Orlock, but I like him better. And that's really sad. I shouldn't feel that way. Like, poor Orlock. I don't hate Orlock. But, again, like, I don't know. I don't feel really endeared to Orlock in this. Oh, that's so wrong. I feel really bad for people who love Orlock. Because, like, I'm not doing him justice. Like, we're playing the route, but, like, I gotta be honest. Like, I enjoyed Gilbert's, and, like, this is getting more exciting. There's more stuff happening. But I'm not like, woohoo! I'm like, oh, yeah, we're doing that. Oh, okay. Well, we have to. I don't find myself super excited to play Orlock's route. I want to know what's happening, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and we're going to have a good time, but I'm not, like, hyped about it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. It just, like, there's a disconnect for me here. Like, and I feel like it's probably that way with all the love interests that I'm not totally into. Like, yeah, I'm having a great, like, the route's great. And at the end, I'm going to be like, yes, and they had some wholesome, beautiful moments. But overall, I would definitely never go back and replay it. You know what I mean? Like, type of a thing. And it's going to be the weakest link for me, for the most part, because it usually is. But I also, at this point, I'm like, usually I'm more like, oh, okay, yeah, we're playing it. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of how I feel. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like people, you get it if you've played a route where you're like, it's not my favorite love interest. And like, yeah, there's good moments and we're having fun overall. But like, at the end, you're going to be like, I mean, I could have skipped it. And I probably, like, I wouldn't have skipped it because I want to know what happens. But if I were reading it on my own, I would have just been like kind of almost speed reading through it, not really paying a lot of attention. So it's probably better that we read this and record, because then I pay more attention. But I still don't remember anything, but yeah. Which is sad, and I feel like that's a disservice to Orlock, because he's a good character. But I do feel bad for those of you watching this who love Orlock, because I'm just like, not here for it. It's not like I'm miserable, but I'm just not having as much fun as I am with a love interest that I'm into. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. I'm doing your favorite a disservice by being like, if someone's going to die, Leo needs to stab Orlock, because I'm not here for Orlock killing Leo. If they both live, cool. But like, and that's sad. But anyway. When I finally caught my breath, I stood up and staggered out of the alley. Gritted my teeth to stave off the pain that surged through my body with each step. In seconds, rain began pouring from the clouds above me. Damn it! Why? Why? Oh, the sound of the rain is so nice. You took Nicola's and Dante's lives, but not mine. Did you not see me as someone worth killing? And mine was an absolute chaos. I want to kill him. Finally shows up and all I can do is watch him beat me. Slammed against the wall in frustration. Feeling like the walls were my only support, I stayed close to them as I aimlessly wandered these rainy streets. Although rainy streets, not these. I didn't last long. Finally gave in to the pain I felt, collapsing to my knees. Suddenly, I'm gonna guess Raul. Oh, no, or Gilbert? Anyway, someone's saying, I thought I told you not to go near them. Probably Gilbert. I raised my head at the familiar voice. It's either Gilbert, Raul. I doubt it would be Johan. It's either Gilbert or Raul. That's what I'm suspecting. The events of the day left me weary. The new leader of the Falzone family, Raul Ghirlandaio, made himself known to us. I can't help seeing the and thinking Ghirardelli. And I just want to fucking make that box of brownies I got downstairs now. Made himself known to us. We were attacked by Orlock's replacement at the ruins, and after that... Orlock? I called to him quietly as he sat down on the bed, looking down in anguish. I brewed some hot tea. Here. Thank you. I know, this one day had more excitement than the 3 hours prior. You know what I'm saying? He took the cup from my hand, and I sat down beside him. He took a sip of the tea before speaking. That was Leo... It was Cavagnis? Cavagnis? I think. Anyway, a member of the Falzone. So you two know each other? Never spoken to each other before today. I only remember his name and face from when I used to go to the Falzone Manor as an informant. I often saw him around Nicola, the Falzone family's underboss. He was originally from Strano before Dante Falzone brought him in. He was one of their closest bodyguards. Orlock's face was rigid with pain as he continued quietly. For some reason, he was kept out of the battles I was a part of, which is why I thought he wouldn't recognize me, but it's only natural he would hate me now. Like, okay, this makes me feel bad about everything I said before, like, between you and frickin', but, like, I mean, because, again, I know Orlock did what he had to do, but it doesn't make me, like, forgive you for it, Orlock. You know what? I shouldn't be mad at Orlock. I should be mad at the church for what they fucking did. I should be mad at your superiors because you're just actually a weapon. Even though you talk and blink and think, you're really nothing but a fucking tool for them, and that's sad. Most of Orlock's previous tasks were carrying out assassinations and stealth. It must have been exceedingly rare for him to be met with such animosity directed toward him. Perhaps the only one who had ever borne a deep grudge against him was Dante Falzone. I wonder if I made the right choice. No. What do you mean? I'm sure Leo will keep seeking revenge. Yet I didn't kill him. Oh, yeah, no, you made the right choice not killing him. Because I think I would have really been fucking mad at you. Like, I'm mad at you for killing everyone else, but, like, I kind of understand you had to do it. And I understand that, like, in your position, if you were like, I don't want to kill this, but you know what I mean? Like, that's your job. you did your job. You're just a tool for the church, which is sad in its own, and like that's a whole other thing. But you did what you were tasked to do. It's not really your fault for following through with it. Doesn't mean I'm not mad about it. But like, you made the right choice not killing poor fucking Leo. Because I couldn't forgive that. Leave Leo alone. Won't be able to kill me. But if he decides to direct his hatred at you, maybe it would have been better if I had ended it back there. Orlock, don't worry. I know that sparing his life was the right thing to do, and I have no desire to kill him. I responded, don't worry about me. I don't know. Oh, fun. Save file. Whoops. Save and upload. Okay, we have to go down here. How many do we have in here? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll quickly. 1. Only 1. Oh. There's only 1? Huh. Oh, because save file 2. Oh, there's only 1 short bad end in his, and you create that in your other bad ending. Okay, so Orlock only needs... Well, we're going to save this here. Because he technically needs 2. I like leaving the same amount of space, so then, like, they're all kind of... Now I have no idea where the fuck I was in my guide. Scroll up to... Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, Orlock. Of course I'm going to worry. My decisions should never put you in danger. And they never have. No matter how frightening things get, everything always turns out okay. That might not be the best way to look at it. I mean, that's a nice way of looking at it currently, but they always turn out fine. Probably not the best thought process to have going into, like, anything we're doing here. I'm just saying. I did my best to smile as brightly as I could. You'll always protect me, won't you? He opened his eyes wide and nodded firmly in response. Yes, I'll always protect you no matter what. I promise with all my heart. Thank you, Orlock. There was Johan, who wanted to kill Orlock. I'm more worried about him than Leo killing us, you know what I mean? Leo Cavagnas, who sought vengeance for the Falzone. And Raul Ghirlandaio, with hidden motives yet to be understood. Probably Ghirlandaio? But I can't, I don't know. Anyway, look at this. Okay, like, Raul is beautiful. I'm kind of sorta in love with him as a side character. He's probably trash, but like, we kind of like trash. I just want to protect fucking Leo. I do feel a little bit bad for Johan, but he's supposed to be the big bet. He's supposed to be the worst. You know what I mean? They make the characters so lovely. Like, even Johan's adorable. I mean, he's too young for me, but he's still adorable. You kind of want to pat him on his head. Angry little head, but... Threats lurked around us on all sides, and still... As long as we're together, I'm sure we'll be fine. I held that belief close to my heart. I leaned against him, feeling as safe and warm as ever. I think the one thing that obviously it leads to the, no, I hate this. But what's nice about it, that'll make sense in a minute. Like, with Orlock's route, like, everybody else's route, you kind of get to know the other bosses a little bit, and, like, you have little moments. And, like, yes, in their routes, you get to know, like, Gil is actually wonderful, and Dante's actually sweet, and Nicola's great. But, like, you kind of get to like them a little bit. Like, I don't quite remember, and I don't really remember in other routes. Like, I mean, I know Yang was always trash. Yang has always been trash. So, like, fine. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like with other ones, like, even in Dante, like Dante and Nicola, because they're so tied, and maybe it's just because it's like, I'm remembering them all kind of hodgepodge together, like remembering all the characters and how much you like all of them, but like, maybe I've actually forgotten, like, in Gil's route, like, because even in Gil's route, like, this after story, when you're playing it, you're like, oh, Gil and Dante are kind of buddy, and we kind of like Dante, and Dante's cool, right? Nicola's dead, so we don't know. I'm like, Yang is kind of shady, but Yang's Yang, he's that character. You're like, yeah, I mean, we invite him to the parties, and you got to be careful with, just don't listen to everything he says. Just guard up when he talks to you. But he's charming in his own way. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of have a little, like, affinity for them. We're always like, yeah, I mean, they're good people. Even Orlock. But, like, in Orlock's route, it's, like, so fucking different because there's no, like, whatever the Mafia's doing on the side, in this route, it's like, oh, yeah, that fucking asshole Dante and that bitch Nicola, and then, I don't trust Gilbert, and, like, you don't like any of them. Like, this is totally the fuck all of them route. And it's, like, weird because I feel like Orlock's route was one that you do later. You don't do it right off the bat. It's not the first route that they recommend. I feel like it was one of the later ones. Like, obviously Henry's the last one, but I feel like Orlock was one of the later routes, right? Oh yeah, because I think Dante's was like, recommend to do Dante's first, and it was like, but Dante's like poster boy for the game, especially like if like he's the gatekeeper, he's the keymaster and we're the gatekeeper, like fucking Ghostbuster shit up in here, right? Like, he's like the poster boy for the game, but we do his route first? It seemed weird. But, like, Orlock I thought was, like, the last route before Henry. And it's kind of, like, weird because I feel like he almost should have been the first. I know it's because there was more plot points that kind of came out, but, like, it's almost like he should be the first because you're like, fuck those Mafia guys, they're all trash, they all suck. And then you get to know them and it's, you know what I mean? Like, the logic behind, like, Orlock's route is we hate all those fuckers. Fuck the Mafia guys, we have no feelings for them. But then you do Orlock's route toward the end and you're like, well, but then it's sad because I love them all. But then again, maybe that's why they did it that way too. Well, I mean, Orlock's also is lots of plot points, so like, fine. More secrets revealed about the church and shit. But like, it hurts more when Dante dies in fucking Orlock's route. You know what I mean? Like this, you're like, Orlock, I don't want this after story. You killed everyone and it's sad. But it's just weird because you like all the other characters. So when you're here and they're all dead and we're like, yeah, that Dante guy, and you're like, girl, have more respect. Right, you don't like him or barely knew him, but I knew him and I have more respect. Like, it's fucking weird. Anyway. But I think we got to the point I was trying to make. I don't know. After the storm from yesterday, the dawn of a new day broke. Orlock and I had come to a conclusion after a discussion weighing the pros and cons. I think we should work with Gilbert. What he shared about the town and Johan were true. Based on what I saw yesterday, Leo seems to be moving on his own, so there's no telling what he'll do next. As for Raul, not really sure what his plans are, making the foul zone another concern for us. That came out really weird the way I read that, but anyway. Having the Visconti on our side would help a lot since they're the last family still active. Yeah, I agree. While it made sense in theory, a part of me was still resistant to the idea. He continued, knowing what was on my mind. Of course, I don't think it's a good idea to trust Gilbert completely. But our current goals are in alignment. We have a reason to cooperate. For now, at least. He seemed to be assured of this decision. While I still harbored doubts about whether Gilbert could be trusted, my trust in Orlock's judgment was unwavering. I've been waiting for you. Can I assume you're here to celebrate our new partnership? Orlock and I were led into the lounge to meet with Gilbert Redford. As though he'd been expecting us, he greeted us with a warm and friendly smile. It's also extremely weird because we're calling him Gilbert Redford, or Senor Redford, and he's like, fucking Gil, dude. Like, it is a little odd. You're like, it's Gil. Alright, but we're not on that term with him yet. We're not on those terms with him. I don't think Orlock would approve. Gilbert Redford, I do wish to work with you, but we ask that you hear what we have to say before making your decision. Gilbert's eye narrowed, but he said nothing. I really props to the person who typed this and put a singular eye. I mean, every once in a while they were putting eyes, and you're like, but like they're really good about eye. His eye narrowed. Damn right, only one eye narrowed, because you can't see the other one. Technically, I mean, when you say his eyes narrowed, you know. Because, like, you don't really narrow one eye and not the other. That's awkward. You know, but we don't know. It's the weirdest thing, but I love it. Because you know I've done that so many times before, and I feel like it was in Piofiore, because I think there's only this, or frickin' Enomoto in Color X Malice where there's an eye patch involved. It's always on the redheaded character. But, like, where they're like, I look deep into his eyes. His eye, yeah, singular. There's only one. The weird as shit. Taking that as a sign to continue, we started from the beginning. We decided earlier this morning that we'd disclose to him everything we knew. If he were to help us, we needed to be honest about the threats we were facing. We revealed that we were being targeted not only by Johan, but the young man from the Falzone family. We also told him about the appearance of Raul. You'll have the introduction you requested, and you can also count me among your forces if ever the need arises.
Of course, I do expect something in return. It's not often that ordinary folks get an in with the church. All I ask is for an introduction with your bosses once you're done. Simple as that. Pretty nice deal, don't you think?
I didn't know what would come of it, but if he wanted this connection to the church, it was clearly of some value to the Visconti. Orlock would certainly be able to set it up. One thing for certain is that helping us will expose you and your soldiers to many dangers, if that's acceptable. Gilbert was now looking at us with a smile, which seemed to broaden before he spoke.
The Visconti welcomes you. From this day forward, we're allies.
Thank you, senor. Although he was the one who had initially proposed it, I was still surprised by his response. Gil's got fucking steel balls, though, okay? Let's just be honest. Okay? He is not fucking afraid of shit. It dawned on me in that moment just how profitable this would be to the Visconti.
Now then, my turn to share some info. First, about the Falzone family's new boss, Raul. He's planning on getting out of the Mafia. Apparently he's got grand ideas to reform them and get the whole family into politics. Naturally, the topic turned to a pact of sorts, but I got no intention of taking him up on the offer.
Why not? Isn't it beneficial to have the Falzone on your side?
Even though he may not be partial to the Mafia's side of the business, he may find the Falzone's power in Berlone harder to give up. If he decides to hold on, that'll put us at odds sooner or later. Besides, this may just be a hunch, but my gut tells me he can't be trusted.
I mean, he does look shady as fuck, but he's beautiful, so... Oh. He's got a lovely purple suit. Seeing Gilbert say it so matter-of-factly reminded me of our own encounter with Raul. Just saying, like, look at that. How many men walk around in a goddamn purple suit? I mean, Orlock works around in a purple jacket and a purple vest, but this man's got, like, a purple fucking suit jacket with a light purple vest, a bluey purple, like, fucking thing, the turquoise tie. I mean, his pants are tan, but, like, I'm just saying. He's got flair. Like, he's just fabulous. I mean, I don't care if you can't trust him. The man's wearing a purple jacket. Couldn't really trust Willy Wonka, and he had a purple velvet coat, and I was there for that shit. I always wanted a purple velvet coat. Always. Even, I don't know, there was just something about... You know what? That probably... Gene Wilder in the original Willy Wonka. It was when it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? I can never fucking remember. Anyway. Yeah, because Willy Wonka was the one with Johnny Depp, and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was the OG one, right? Or was Willy Wonka and the... I can never remember which title is fucking which. I don't know why that got backwards in my head, but anyway. The top hat and that purple velvet coat, I always fucking wanted that shit, and that explains why I have a fuck ton of top hats. And, like, I have a purple velvet blazer that is just too big to be worn as a blazer, but I keep it in my closet because it's like, this is like a nice-ass coat in the fall. I'm just saying. It's my Willy Wonka coat, and I won't ever get rid of it because it's a purple velvet fucking coat. And, like, I still want, like, a really, like, fabulous purple velvet fucking coat. Like, a fabulous fucking one. And purple velvet coats will always be always be a Willy Wonka coat. Oh, look! That shit was awesome! Anyway. I'm just saying purple is my favorite color, so... You put a man in a purple suit, and, like, he may not be able to be trusted, but I'm here for it, I don't care. What ifs? Worse has happened to me in this game. Just saying. Worry not. I bear no grudges against you. I trust you had your own reasons for doing so. At the very least, I couldn't tell what was going on inside his mind back then.
Well, I told him we'd wait and see for now. I don't want to cause any more problems than I need, you know? I'm sure that guy has no clue what it really means to cut ties in this business.
Oh, god damn it. Fucking volume. Sorry. Like you blink and the fucking shit goes up. Is it really so difficult? I was flipping so I could see what the time was.
Signorina, let me be the first to tell you. These roots run deep, and the whole system relies on honor among thieves. 3 can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead, and there are way more than 3 left in the Foul Zone's Black Book. Not to mention his duty is to every last member of that family. From what I've seen, he may not even grasp the concept yet.
And somehow, Raul knew that I was a disciple. And that's something only a select few in the church would know, and we know someone was talking to him about it, so...
Meaning he's got some real solid connections. Not just in Rome politics, but more than likely with the higher-ups at the church to boot. And then you got this Johan guy whose goal is to kill you with or without help.
With help or without, sorry. He didn't tell us why, but he must have some personal grudge against Orlock.
Well, given Orlock's line of work, I'm sure he's ticked off more than his share of enemies along the way. And that goes for me, too. I've lived far from what you'd call an honest life, which is why I'm prepared to be killed at any time. That said, I'm not going down without a fight. If I can die with honor, I'll gladly accept my fate. I'm sure they felt the same way.
Hey? Gilbert gave a thin smile without clarifying the thought further. He's like, you know.
You said earlier that a young guy from the Foul Zone is looking for vengeance on behalf of Dante and Nicola, right? I know him real well. In fact, he even came to me to learn more about you two. I did try to stop him, you know.
He gave a bitter chuckle, seemingly hit by a number of complex emotions at once.
Revenge, of course, usually means setting yourself up to die in the process. See Leo's angle all too well. You sure it was a good idea to keep him alive?
Orlock's brow furrowed, but he bit down on his lip without saying anything.
Well, enough about that for now.
Gilbert read the room and moved on without pressing Orlock for an answer.
You two need to focus on Johan, right? Aside from our deal, I got other reasons to get rid of him as soon as possible. His little killing spree's been all too focused on the rich. Losing any more of my clients will spell trouble real soon.
Understood. We'll do our best to take care of him first.
As for Raul, well, best to keep our eyes peeled. It does bother me that he went out of his way to meet you. But now isn't the time to fight him. Best we can hope for is that he's just some stuffy financier eager to show off who and what he knows. That I can deal with. And
Oh, sorry, I don't know why I clicked that. Okay, so fast.
And I'll keep looking into him. Anything I find out, I'll share with you two. Sound good?
Orlock and I exchanged glances. Everything about our meeting with Gilbert seemed too good to be true. I mean... I wasn't feeling that way at all. But it's valid, because we don't trust Gilbert. I trust Gilbert, but I'm not really sure if I should in this route. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's different. Everybody's kind of different in this route. They don't know me, so like, I'm not sure Orlock and I can trust Gil as far as we could punch him, which is not very far. But me personally, I absolutely trust Gil. I know how great and wonderful he is. He wouldn't backstab us, would he? Probably. Maybe. The question is like, maybe. Dante and Gilbert, maybe. Nicola, yeah, that's a little bit closer to a yes. Yang is abso-fucking-lutely. This whole entire, absolutely stabbing me. Abso-fucking-lutely. That was like his normal ending, wasn't it? It was like, up, stabbed, and you're like, this is normal? For Yang, yeah, I guess. Honestly, with Yang, I'm surprised that wasn't the happy ending, but you know what I mean, so. If we were making this deal with Yang, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna get stabbed in the back. I don't trust this motherfucker. I love him, but I don't trust him. Nicola would be kind of questionable, like, he's probably gonna stab us in the back. I'm a little more sure he'd stab us in the back. Again, Dante and Gilbert, I'm leaning toward he might, but I'm probably gonna trust him, and then when he stabs us in the back, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I should have seen that coming, but no regrets. After a brief pause, we decided to accept his offer. Both Orlock and I were on edge. Among the support that Gilbert offered was a place to stay here while we looked for Johan.
You're guests of the Viscontis now, so make yourselves at home. Johan may sneak in through another window, but you're at least safe from Raul and Leo. I'll have your rooms prepared for you tonight. If there's anything you need while you're here, give me a shout, alright?
Is this some kind of trap?
Invite, entertain, then kill my guests? Can't think of a bigger waste of time, so don't worry. Like I said before, we're allies here. That means we look out for each other.
Later, in the evening, like ad time, but oh well. I started reading this part, so whoops. We sat down to a feast spread across the table with an incredible array of food like I had never seen before. Oliver had taken his seat and was now staring at Orlock with great interest. I wonder what we think about frickin', like, Oliver in this, because we're like, this guy. I must admit, the thought has intrigued me. What type of behemoth could have inflicted into Gilbert such dreadful injuries? But I see near death was at the hands of a child. Were you drunk, Gilbert? Hey, this guy's a lot stronger than he looks. And I'm not a child, I'm an adult. I turned 19 this year. You're both like, huh? 19? But you're so thin. Are you hungry? Here, you need to eat more. I can't believe Oliver went into dad mode with fucking Orlock. I don't remember Oliver ever slipping into dad mode in the fucking original game. But his dad mode in everything... Look, he's so fucking concerned. He is so fucking angry at Orlock right now. He's like, you are too thin, you will fucking eat, young man. I love Oliver more and more in every single fucking round. I love him so much. Just his fucking dad mode is hilarious. Oliver started to pile food onto Orlock's plate, including a thick slice of beef, bacon, potatoes, and more. When he ran out of space, he began loading up another and placed it in front of Orlock beside the first. I'm not sure if this is dad mode or like weird fucking aunt mode, where you're like, oh, sweetie, you're too thin, and she's like fucking like piling your fucking food up, like, you've got to eat more. Look at you, I can practically see your bones. Like, what the fuck? What?
Don't be shy now. We got plenty, so eat up.
In the meantime, Oliver was setting down plate after plate that he prepared for Orlock. One was piled high with boiled sausages, and another nearly overflowed with frittata. The next plate had enough potato gratin for a meal in itself, the top of which was a crispy golden brown.
Is this too much?
Returning to his senses, Oliver muttered to himself with a hint of regret. Oliver. Thank you. With that, Orlock began to eat. The food set before him steadily dwindled with each passing moment. Oliver's eyes widened as he looked on with joy. I'm gonna fucking die.
Bravo! Now that's what it means to eat. Some beer will go very well with these sausages. Let me fetch some German beer for you. You may drink as much as you like.
Oh. We're getting a side story thing, okay. Oh, God. Oliver stood and left in high spirits to get the beer while Gilbert watched on, looking greatly amused. I'm greatly amused as well. We're going to have to go a little bit over because I want to make sure we get the meanwhile story. I don't want to, like, end right here because then, you know, it's only, like, 2 clicks away, so. Let's read the side story. I should have stopped before this, but that's okay. Raul. I stopped in the middle of my work, and my frustration was difficult to shake. Ever since the casino, my mind had continued to linger on the Visconti meeting, and making me more and more angry.
Furthermore, Signor... whatever his last name is, anyway. We must first assess the business aptitude of all of our potential partners. You may be the Falzone's new boss, but you're not Dante or Nicola. You're an outsider. Sorry, but I got no reason to trust you.
Comparing me to Dante and Nicola, those fools would know brilliance if it hit them in the face. I can hardly expect more from country bumpkins. They were not raised with my eye for quality. Indeed, my importance would transcend their comprehension. If they dare underestimate me. There's a legend that's told only to the head of the Falzone family. Oh, this was who was talking to Raul. That makes more sense. Because that's why he knew about the disciples and stuff. Alright, I don't know why I didn't piece that together before. Regarding a valuable relic that lies in Berlone, and one known as the Key Maiden. And that's why he pointed out, look, there's the Key Maiden. Berlone was given to the Falzone family with a mission ages ago. The Falzone family is the very reason why this land is blessed by the church. But now the Visconti family's leeching off Berlone and its fortune. I cannot let them get away with that. Of course, it would be below me to live as a mobster in a secluded town, but before I leave, I'll have them pay their dues in full. I picked up my pen and returned to work. That said, the church will not turn its back on Berlone if the relic is moved. Oh, the church will turn its back on Berlone if the relic is moved. Without the church's support, the Mafia will lose their hold on this town, just like the others. And the Visconti will naturally meet their end without my lifting even a single finger. But where is the fun in that?
I think it's so funny that this plotting against the Visconti is actually in Orlock's and not in Gil's, but I guess it's because like Gil's father had to come in, and that would have been just too many fucking plot lines going on in that one. And we don't really have ties, so if shit happens, if Raul kills Gilbert, kind of like Orlock died on the side, it's going to be devastating. But I feel like we might be headed for this shit anyway.
A small smile peeked from my face as well. It was a very pleasant, lively meal. I might have been wrong about the Visconti.
Like I might have been wrong, fades to black. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, we'll wrap that here. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.